First, the truth. Their profitable mail volume is dead, a $100 billion revenue collapse with no recovery in sight. Next, operating costs are permanently outpacing income. This is a business built to lose money every single day. And finally, their credit line is tapped out. This isn't just a loss, this is a liquidity crisis. Okay, before you even think about checking your mail today, you need to hear this. The United States Postal Service is in a financial death spiral, and I'm not talking about a temporary slump here. This is a deep systemic problem that's been building for years, and it is not getting better. Take a look at this number, over $100 billion. That's how much money the USPS has lost since 2007. It's a staggering amount of cash. To give you some perspective, that's more than the entire yearly budget for Homeland Security. And despite what you might have heard on the news, this problem is nowhere near being solved. And this chart, well, it says it all, doesn't it? This isn't a new problem. For years, that red line, the expenses, has been way above the blue line, which is their income. This shows a long-term, fundamental imbalance. It's not just a bad quarter, the very foundation of their finances is broken. So, how have they been staying afloat? Well, they've been borrowing a lot. They have a $15 billion line of credit from the U.S. Treasury, and as you can see, they've pretty much maxed it out. That's it. The credit card is full, which means they are in a very, very tight spot. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about that big bailout in 2022? Didn't that fix everything? Nope, not even close. In fiscal year 2024, after that supposed fix, the USPS still lost a jaw-dropping $9.5 billion. It's a massive red flag that the real issues were never addressed. And this is why we're here. This is the whole point. Everyone is looking to the year 2026 as the turning point, the year the big reforms finally kick in and save the day. But here's the shocking truth. Our analysis shows 2026 isn't salvation. It's the breaking point. It's the year the crisis could get a whole lot worse. If you want to understand the money stories that actually impact your life and your wallet, you need to be subscribed. Hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, before we expose why the 2026 deadline is a total lie. So first, let's just bust this myth that the problem has already been solved. You see, for years, we were all told one simple story about why the post office was failing. And in 2022, Congress passed a law that was supposed to be the final fix. And the villain of that story? It was this thing called the pre-funding mandate of 2006. This was a truly unique and crushing law. It forced the USPS to pay for its retiree health benefits 75 years into the future, all within a 10-year window. I mean, think about that. No other company, not public, not private, had a burden like this. It was the main reason for those huge historical losses you saw earlier. So, in 2022, Congress finally stepped in and passed the Postal Service Reform Act. And boom, it got rid of that mandate just like that. About $50 billion in obligations vanished from their books. It was hailed as this huge, historic victory that would finally save the post office. And the Postal Service itself, they were incredibly optimistic. This is a quote from their own 10-year plan, saying they'd finally be able to break even. The message to all of us was crystal clear. The crisis is over. Things are looking up. But then the numbers came in. Another loss. $9 billion down the drain. Even without that ridiculous mandate, they are still hemorrhaging cash. So, what's going on? It's simple, really. The reform only fixed an accounting problem from the past. It did absolutely nothing to fix the actual business for the future. Okay, so why did this big fix fail so spectacularly? The answer lies in three fatal structural flaws, deep problems that the 2022 law didn't even touch. And these are the things pushing the USPS right towards that 2026 breaking point. Flaw number one. Let's call it the pension time bomb. So, even with the old mandate gone, the USPS says that over 80% of its recent losses come from what they call uncontrollable costs. Now, what's that? It's mostly legally required pension payments and workers' comp. These are massive bills that keep piling up year after year, no matter how many letters they deliver. And flaw number two is a big one, a dying business model. Look at this chart. It's brutal. The single most profitable thing the post office does is deliver first-class mail, letters, bills. But that business is in a permanent, irreversible freefall as the world goes digital. You just can't run a healthy business when your main product is vanishing before your eyes. Right now, you're probably thinking, but wait, what about all those Amazon packages they're delivering? And yeah, package delivery is growing, but it's a tough, low-profit margin business with tons of competition. And get this, it's not even a guaranteed win. In 2025, package volume actually fell by almost 6%. It is definitely not the silver bullet everyone thinks it is. All right, the third fatal flaw is what I call the Medicare risk. Part of the 2022 reform was this grand plan to save money by shifting future postal retirees over to Medicare. This is a huge, incredibly complex project, and it's supposed to be fully up and running around 2026. The danger? If this massive transition gets messy, and let's be honest, big government tech rollouts often do, it could unleash even more financial chaos and massive service disruptions. So now, let's connect the dots. You've got the pension time bomb ticking away, you have a core business model that's dying, and you have this super high-stakes Medicare transition on the horizon. All of these forces are set to collide, and they're all pointing directly at 2026 as the year this whole thing could boil over. So here's the bottom line. Back in 2022, Congress threw a party because they fixed a historical accounting problem. But they completely ignored the actual business, which was rotting from the inside out. They left the broken business model and those massive, uncontrollable costs to fester. It was like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Look, this isn't just some abstract story about government finances. If the Postal Service fails, there are very real, very tangible consequences that are going to affect you, your family, and your business. This is really what's at stake. A post office that's broke isn't just a news headline. It could mean your mail delivery gets cut to 5 days a week, maybe even less. It means the price you pay for stamps and to ship a package will just keep going up and up. It means slower, less reliable service for everything, from your birthday cards to critical prescription medications. And yeah, it could absolutely mean that your local post office, a cornerstone of so many communities, just closes its doors for good. So, it all comes down to this one question. The Postal Service is one of America's oldest, most vital institutions. It's been around for 250 years, but the numbers don't lie. That 2022 fix was not enough. The clock is ticking toward 2026, and without some kind of real, fundamental change, something much bigger than what's been tried, its survival over the next 10 years is not guaranteed. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you trust the USPS to execute the massive changes required by 2026? What is your biggest fear about the future of mail delivery? Tell me in the comments below. If you learned something new today and want to stay ahead of the curve on the biggest economic news, make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, share this video, and I'll see you in the next one.